Got that wrong. Let me just try it again. Technical difficulties from the beginning.
Of course.
All right, so this was supposed to be our intro. Is it sharing now?
Happy holidays!
There we go.
It's quite loud. I see it live on YouTube.
That was supposed to be our test screen to get there.
I don't know that I see it live on LinkedIn.
I do see it on. We'll start soon, is what it says.
Just to make sure.
This is like leg.
I don't know. I can't get to it on my LinkedIn.
Oh, really?
Well, it's still saying it's upcoming.
Yeah, it says upcoming for now.
It's usually right away for me.
Oh, it did
in the past.
A little bit of time. Stories here. Theater.
I feel like we're having more technical difficulties.
It's always a little clunky with integration.
Yep.
Am I getting the comments though? I'm getting.
It definitely hasn't started on LinkedIn for some reason.
All right. Yeah, see 0.
Oh, I'm wrong. Wait. Yeah. It's connected. Like.
Yeah, it is connected.
So. Riverside is connected. It even says that it's. Like it links to the page, but then you go there and it's not started. I don't know.
Yeah. I just start from the LinkedIn? It's probably not.
No,
well, if anything, we have to do the revert too. Uploading it after.
I'll lose the benefit of having it on LinkedIn if it's not going to get to LinkedIn during live.
Yeah, it's connected, but I don't know why it's not connecting on here.
Management.
Well, I'll give a minute. If that doesn't, we'll just start.
Yeah, I don't know how much longer. Well, I think it would have either started by now or not.
Mm-hmm.
And it's now 5 minutes in. So, hello, YouTube. I can't do anything. Like there's no options to edit via LinkedIn at all. I think it's Riverside.
Yep. It worked fine the last couple times. So.
Well, you want to share and kick it off?
Yeah. Well, we'll start. So. We will be talking about, should we start with our drinks or?
Yeah, go ahead and start with the drinks. Mine's a fake drink.
Well, actually, I'm just going to have a glass of wine. It's an interesting name, so I got it. I actually opened it yesterday, so I have to admit that I tried it. It's the Introvert Cabernet.
Sounds like my kind of drink.
Yeah. So it's a Cabernet from California, 2023. I had a glass yesterday, and I actually like the cool image on the logo thing. It's like a moon.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the old typical movie, I forgot the name of the movie. But anyways, so introvert. I always call myself a little bit of introvert. So.
I know I am.
Yeah, I know I am, but when it's needed.
My ability to even
extrovert,
do this.
I'll do that. But
even to talk to you for some reason, like I'm wiped out after an hour-long meeting. So.
Oh yeah, definitely that. I just like, but in the work settings, usually,
Yeah.
I switch that off. But anyways, so that's
Very cool.
me.
Well, I mentioned to you. So in Colorado, we're in high wind, red flag, and I might be running a chainsaw later today. So I'm gonna keep going with just some LaCroix. Did you see that?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm gonna go with LaCroix.
What is that?
It's LaCroix. It's just a purple raspberry water. You know what LaCroix is?
No.
Sparkling water. I will likely be running a chainsaw to cut up whatever down trees are in the neighborhood. Because we're getting probably 100-mile-an-hour gusts today. We had 80 miles an hour yesterday.
Weird. Yeah, I just got a comment saying that it says it's starting soon on LinkedIn, but it's not starting. So I was like, well, it is connected, so I don't know what the issue is, but we'll try to take a look at that next time. But for now, we'll just continue with our
Start the slides.
slides. I think I can share just to make sure that it doesn't over my share. All right. Do you see my screen?
There we go.
So the topic we advertise is it's year end. It's like literally a couple weeks left, and people are probably going to start disappearing if they haven't already for their holiday breaks next 2 weeks. So we wanted to talk about 3E leadership check-in. As you know, our 3E, 3 experiences. We'll go over it a little bit for those of you who are not familiar with it, and how to align teams when everyone is tired and budgets are tight.
Yeah, so I mean, this is some of the most stressful times, depending on the workload in the office, the organization, right? I mean, it's probably already somewhat past, but trying to get things out by the end of the year for random deadlines. This is when leadership either excels or fails. And it's not just like leadership, like leadership traits. It's like management, communication, like people in leadership positions either rise to the occasion or crash. Maybe it's also like depending on where you are in your career. Like I've definitely crashed in the past, and I've risen to the occasion sometimes. Hopefully more often than not.
Yeah, and then also there's a holiday pressure coming with everyone leaving, and there will be lower coverage in a lot of teams because most people take off this time. And some people who actually have to take time depending on which company benefit schedule you have, you might have to use up all your PTOs and things like that. So for various reasons, and also various reasons that you want to be with your family, and the weather's getting cold for the most part. So that's why the pressure gets higher with mentally and then just also like physically as well.
Yeah, and if you look at, you can go ahead. The biggest real problem is an alignment of like communication and understanding priorities of the organization. Most of the time, if you're working on any kind of organization that you don't control, you're not the owner of, there's probably, and maybe if you are, you're also creating too many priorities, but there's likely going to be competing priorities, too many of them, even within the individual kind of org structure. You got lots of last minute requests to get out by the end of the year for, kind of made up deadlines. We make up the end of year deadline for a lot of things. I mean, financial stuff and tax count things are one thing, but like having a deadline of the end of the year is kind of odd at this point because most people are already finished shopping by this week-ish or early next week. So any changes you're going to make are going to go on either deaf ears because no one's coming back to the site other than for returns, or it's going to break things and you're going to cause bigger issues. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
And
And
the other thing
also,
is,
oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say the other thing, like Miki said, like people are out and possibly unscheduled out. I mentioned our natural issues of we get potential fire and serious winds. Like my internet was out this morning, my power and internet were out, and who knows if we'll make it through this call or not. But like there are natural things that force people to go out of office, snowstorms, travel. They get stuck in places.
Yeah, and some of the things that I wanted to add from Matt is that the too many priorities or the priorities that you had it for the year planned out, but you just have that pressure of trying to hash through it last minute because you realize you didn't finish it.
Yeah.
And then with that in mind, psychologically, you tend to put last minute requests that doesn't need to be a last minute request. So that does happen with this time period as well. So some real urgencies and some fake urgencies that are kind of all commingled. So it gets a lot of misalignment and issues or frustration for a lot of people during this time. So the 3E leadership lens. So as you know, we always talk about our 3E framework a lot. So for those of you who are listening to us frequently, know what it is. But for those who are not familiar with this term, it's 3 experiences that we always look into to make sure we're looking at the bigger picture. So it's audience experience, creator experience, and developer experience. And we also want to take a look at all 3 angles in the leadership perspective to ensure that we're covering all the areas. We're not missing out on some areas.
Yeah, I mean, this can be what we're trying to say is this can be very easily brought into a company's org chart or organization, right? Typically you have CIO, CTO over developers in some way. You got that section. You've got audience experience, people responsible for the public brand, whether it's marketing or maybe it's design, creative, say ad sales if they're or sales and marketing type thing. And then you got creator, the people actually creating that content for those systems. And it could be just creating internal documentation or public documentation as well.
And for developer experience, to like we always call it, it's a backbone, the engine room that you want to support both experiences, front end and back end, as well as your baseline infrastructure is being strong too. And also, this is a good time when most of the times a lot of platforms are less busy during this period. And this, where if you're working, if you're not out, you want to visit some of the tech devs that you have been putting off because of all the other busy things, or something you can improve for next year to improve your workflows or DevOps or any efficiencies, will be a good time to take a look at it, to plan out. You don't necessarily have to apply it, but plan out for next year.
Yeah.
So team needs in December.
I wasn't sure if we were going to keep the slide in here when we did this outline because we are in 1 week left of December.
Right. But this is probably trying to align this and better prepare for 2026. This is a good time to think through it. Sometimes like you might be just pressured and just like too busy with other things that you don't have time to just sit down and think about what can be actually better. So this is a good time to quiet your head, pretty much, quiet your brain with all this noise, and think about that. And just some of the things that you can consider while you're doing that can be these items.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the organization, also, you might have a very quiet next week. I mean, that's typical of larger organizations that people have taken the time off and they've actually scheduled things appropriately. So you could take this time to think through how the rest of December went, how it went last year, and then also how you want this January to go. As far as were we meeting these priorities? Did we have more emergencies or less emergencies in developers? Have we been very consistent in our messaging on the audience side if you're on that side of things? and how we can improve them, and starting in January, or even starting now. If you're still in that peak season, you don't have to stop work if you're around.
Yeah, but during this time that you want to make sure you're not rolling out weird things, or you're not pushing out changes a lot, because like we said in the beginning, the coverage will be very light, and also people's morale will be slower during this time. So you want to kind of keep it quiet if there isn't anything crazy scheduled. And it's probably not a good idea to schedule anything around this time anyway. But if unfortunately that happened before, then you might want to just focus on that, but not adding more noise to it, and making sure it stays quiet for the rest of the year.
Right.
All right, so communication that actually works. Less noise creates more clarity. That's easy to understand, but sometimes it's harder to actually execute.
Yeah, I think the idea of weekly check-ins in my mind, right? I mean, a lot of people put this as, oh, I need a 1-hour meeting with my team members. Like, that's something you can do if you're talking about like actual planning, actually like looking forward for a larger organization. But if you're literally just trying to find out what that person is doing, there are much better ways of doing it than meetings. So weekly check-in can mean a lot of different things. It can be just a status update in Slack or whatever Teams, depending on what you're using. I guess that's the simple update type of thing.
Yeah, quick updates, and also decision owners. And for this slide coverage, you might want to know who to reach out if something happens. Those should have been there already. If not, before you go on your vacation, or before people are starting to take all their time off, ensure that the coverages are there and people know who to reach out if something goes wrong.
So this is like, again, you should have been planning for this before, but looking at the end of the year, if you still have things that are going out, does it really have to ship? Does it have to go live this week? Are you meeting the December 31st deadline to check something off the box, or are you having something that has to go live January 1 because it's tied to like some promotion or things like that? I remember a long time ago, I worked with health brands, like health digital publishers, right? So January 1 was very important because all the health fads kick in to do all the things as part of your New Year's resolution. So yes, getting it done by the end of the year was very important and critical to have launched on Jan 1, because it was like a X day calendar of events that started on Jan 1 that had to be live.
Yeah. So going with that, if it must ship, then you also want to ensure that everyone is clear on who's available and who's not available, and who needs to do what to actually ship. Because if there's people who are leaving and will be out for a while, who's covering that person? Those are communicated correctly, and responsibility and the accountability is set correctly before people start leaving. And if there's something that must go out, and that goes along with what can wait, and is it all really have to go out, or some of the things that must go out versus something that can wait until when people are back and you have full coverage on your team. And yeah, that goes with the who owns what. So if something goes wrong, or if the normal person that handles certain thing is going to be out, who's covering that person? So having all that is clear to everyone in the team, so that there's no disruption and you're not bugging the person who's actually out. That also leads to what risks. So what are the risks that can happen? So some of the risks are hard to see, but a lot of things can be prepared. So you want to think about what risks are there, and then what do you have as a plan to fix it. It needs to be clear. So it's all about clarity, about who's there, what's there, what needs to be done, who will be able to do it, and those kind of things. It's all about the communicating with the team to have the clarity around this time. Anything to add?
I got distracted. I was trying to get the LinkedIn to work again. I don't know why it's not working. That's going to bug me.
Yeah.
Who was responsible for that? Neither one of us, because there's so much of a black box of like, set it all up and then it's supposed to work. And then when it doesn't, it just doesn't.
We'll see if there's any way for us to prepare for this next time.
Exactly.
All right, so thinking about 2026, this is the right time to think about it. And also, well, you should have been already thinking about that if you haven't already had your planning meeting for next year. But some of the things that you can also add to it
well, this is a good time, and this is where it means like December reveals the truth. Again, the most stressful times, maybe it was November was the most stressful time, but maybe this was, as we talked about, like crunching into the end of the year. Like, how did people react? Like, it's not all about just adjusting your leadership. Maybe you're a really good leader, but you have people under you that are not very good leaders. And that's becoming apparent in very stressful times, right? Part of your role as a manager or director or whatever is watching the leadership underneath you or parallel to you and helping them adjust things, giving them the like critical feedback and that letting them understand that deadlines are dates on the calendar sometimes, and they're not necessarily immovable or whatever objects that can't be changed. Yes, there's always downsides to moving things, but there's a bigger downside to destroying your team or destroying morale or shipping something that shouldn't be shipped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then if you're in business for a while, and then or even something's changed that you have experienced 2025. So there are certain things, trends, or some timelines and things like that will be similar in 2026. So on those, you can actually better prepare for it. Like if you actually throw some live events during a certain time, you need to be preparing for that and thinking that to kind of put what needs to get on schedule when. So those kind of things, the bigger items that can be checked and be prepared. You don't have to go into too much details into it yet, but then at least start putting in your calendar, putting the timeline in a hot roadmap to ensure that you're preparing for your next year better. I keep clicking the wrong place and it's not. All right, there we go. So I don't know if there'll be a lot of Q&A on this. I don't know if you had the
definitely since LinkedIn is not even playing.
Yeah, and then we're trying to troubleshoot, and I think our team is trying to troubleshoot in the background, and it seems like it's a Riverside that's not connecting right now.
My biggest question would be to Riverside. Like, did they try to ship something and break everything?
Yeah.
On a Friday afternoon or Friday morning / afternoon, right before the holidays.
Yeah, they do ship a lot of features, and then with that, sometimes they break other features and then fix it. So hopefully it's going to get fixed right away, because we're still planning. Speaking of planning for 2026, we are still planning to do monthly lunch and learn, probably in like second or third Fridays at the same time. So that's our plan. So we will also be better prepared to how to fix this in the next year.
I'll be curious how other than having a backup plan for a streaming service, like obviously we could do it manually and go through it, and that would be and having full control. But we actually, this is a kind of behind the scenes, and not really behind the scenes, because most people use services like that. Like if these services continue to fail, then people are going to move and or do their own solutions. Like, why wouldn't we could come up with our own solution to, because we're only publishing to basically LinkedIn and YouTube. We have some other things, but
so that is our backup plan. So we usually put the recording right away after, but it feels disruptive workflow for us, because that's not ideal for us, because that's not what we planned. But technical difficulties do happen, and we have to compensate for that. but hopefully there is a better way to troubleshoot it and connect it in the midway too, because this is one of those things that when you connect once, there's really no visibility for us to see what broke to not play on this thing.
Yeah, a tool like this, there's no UI for us to like disconnect and then reconnect manually. Like it's set up and that was the event, and we would have to delete the event and start a brand new event.
Right, and then all the people who signed up, although we have a very low traction on this one specifically, if there's a people who signed up, then we can't really move those people to the new event.
Yeah,
in a back last minute manner.
I think Riverside's going to get a very peppy or interesting email from us around their service this year. The last quarter, really. Like they've continued to ship broken issues all the time. I feel like they have AI developers building out features, honestly.
Yeah, I can see that. Speaking of Riverside, there's one thing that Riverside sent. I think a lot of people who use the Riverside probably got it for 2025 recap. I thought this was hilarious, so I wanted to show it. We might repurpose it later, but
yeah, if you watch Boozy Browsing on the regular, you know what our intros are normally like.
Right. But let me see if I can pull this video up. And I thought it was hilarious when we got this. I think I had you guess this, so I can't ask you these questions. The top word that we used during our Boozy Browsing show was surprisingly in line with our theme, so I thought it was hilarious.
We're very much on brand.
Yeah, and then like Matt couldn't guess it. So let me see if I can share this one. I think I have to actually do, yeah, there we go. You see that?
It's a delay. Oh,
beer.
Yes, beer.
So our word was beer.
I guess we need to drink more whiskey and wine, apparently, according to that word.
So we're actually on time.
Yeah. So, like you said, we do the weeklies. We publish every Monday afternoon, and we are trying to do this once a month as far as a live stream with more Q&A and potentially guests in the future. But we'll have to see if the weekly ones are more. We do definitely reviews of websites and things like that as well. But this is kind of more informational lunch and learn. We do have a 3E assessment that's kind of a do-it-yourself format that you can download on the website if you want to go there. And otherwise, I think we're done for the year, other than the things we have scheduled for publishing, right?
Yeah, we're done for the year. This is our last one for the year. And we'll see you guys in 2026.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
All right. Happy New Year.